Hey everyone, it's Kitty and welcome back to my channel. So today's video is quite random once again, and this is going to be is it the same type video. So I'm going to be showing you a comparison between the Shaaanxo, I guess you could call it the Shaaanxo BH Cosmetics first collaboration and the Shaaanxo and BH Cosmetics second collaboration. So Shaaanxo 1, Shaaanxo 2. But I'm going to be comparing the old or first collaboration that she did with BH Cosmetics, and then I'm going to be comparing it to the Remix palette because the colors in the Remix palette and in this palette are just a tad bit different and everything. Like they're just a tad bit like different. Some of them, even like the original shades that are the same in this palette, because I'll show you the comparisons between the palettes and what they are in a second. Like basically the shades have a little bit of a different tone, so I did do like a tutorial on this look that I did today. I kind of compared these shades, and I'm also going to be swatching them and showing you like if they're the same or not. So yeah, that's fun. So yeah, let's just get right into the video. If you want to know if these palettes are the same, like if you don't need both, I thought this would just be a fun video to do because it's like a comparison, you know, but with the same collaboration, you know what I mean? So yeah, if you want to see the comparison and all that kind of fun stuff, you're in the right place. Just keep on watching. So the difference between these palettes, this one is the first collaboration with BH Cosmetics and Shannon, and this is, they're both double-ended palettes, but this one you get the shadows, these are all the shadows and stuff, and then this one you do get lipsticks also. And I'm not a huge fan of getting lipsticks in like palettes like this, but you know, it's fun, it's fine, I like it, but it's just not, I prefer like both lipsticks than like lipsticks like this. And then the Remix, you have all the original shades in there, and then you also have I guess you could call it the Remix shades, because you have all these beautiful shades from purples to pinks and just all these fun shades. So that's the differences between the palette. But today I was comparing this side of the palette to that side of the palette. So some of the shades do look a little bit different. I will have like close-ups of some of these just because like it's hard to like show you all in one frame. It's hard. But yeah, I'm not sure if I want to do live swatches and then record what they look like on, or what I want to do, but we're gonna do it. So I think first I'm gonna start off by swatching the first shade. This shade is like a white cream color, and this one is called Clarity. So I'm just gonna go ahead and swatch it. Okay, so this is what they look like compared. Okay, so I think the first two shades, the white for the Remix palette does look like it is a little bit more pinker, and it still has that cream look to it, but it seems to be a little bit more pink. And the other one isn't as pigmented, it's more of just a plain white shade. So that's those. Now I'm gonna swatch Holy Grail, which is that shimmery color just dipping in. Okay, so these pretty much look the same, maybe a little bit different. The new one looks a little bit pinker again, but the old one is pretty much the same. They look like they're the same pigment and everything, and they look pretty much the same. So now we're gonna swatch Glow Baby. This one I would describe as like a rose, almost gold shade. Okay, so definitely there's a little bit tad of a difference. So the one shade does seem to be more of a peachy pink, or at least it's a little bit warmer of a pink. It's still like rose gold, but it seems a little bit warmer. And then the other shade is a little bit lighter, but it's still in that rose gold pink family. Okay, so next we have the Buttercup shade, which is that like yellow orange type shade. Okay, these ones again, just minor differences. The second shade in the Remix palette does look like it is a little bit more orangey yellow, like it's just a little bit brighter. And then the other one is just, I don't know, it just doesn't seem as pigmented. I think it's a little bit more powdery looking, but which is fine as long as they blend great, and it did on the eyes, which you'll see in the tutorial. I think it might be a little bit more yellow orange, like it's just a little bit lighter with that, but they pretty much look the same. Now the bronze, so we are gonna go with the original first. And now this shade, by the way, is called Beach Babe. Okay, so these pretty much look the same. I think the second one does look a little bit more like, I don't know, bronzy, really gold dipped, and then the other one just looks a little bit darker, but they're pretty much the same shade. There's just minor differences with these. Okay, so now the terracotta shade, and honestly the new palette does seem like the shades are more like creamy feeling. They just feel a lot more creamy to me. The other palette, I don't know if it's because I've had it for a couple years, but they just seem drier feeling, but these ones feel like just more buttery. I don't know, maybe that's just me. And yeah, so these shades pretty much look the same. The first one is a little bit more of a warmer brown. This one's like still the same shade, but it just seems a tad bit warmer when it comes to the first one. Okay, so now we have this toasted color. I believe this is supposed to be like a grayish color. Ooh, this one kind of swatches like to be a gray purple, which I never realized. I'd never used that shade. These ones are probably the closest match. They look pretty spot on with each other. It's like a gray purple in my opinion. That's what it looks like, at least to me. Okay, so now we have my favorite shade, which is the shade I have on my base of my lids, which I really like. This one's called Avocado. So we're gonna swatch this one now. I'm like running out of arm space. Okay, yes, this is such a beautiful duochrome. It's like a brown with blue tint to it. It's great. Okay, so now let's swatch the Avocado actually named shade. Okay, this is another one where there's slight differences. I think the new one looks more shiny, but it's probably because it's just new. And then the old one does look just a little bit more duller, but they're pretty much the same shade. They have the same tone. They have the same vibe to it. That's what it is. And now for the black. I'm very curious about this just because it is a black, so maybe one could be more pigmented than the other, and blacks really tell it. So I'm gonna do it on this arm this time. Definitely feels more dry, and that's kind of the pigment with that one. But you do still get very good pigment with this black. It is very pigmented from the looks. And now let's go on to the other. So I think the black pigment is pretty much the same. They pretty much have the same type of pigment. They seem to be pretty pigmented. Now I'm not like a black expert. I'm not really into black eyeshadow. I use it to mix it with dark browns to make it a little bit darker, but it's not like holy grail with blacks where I'm like, ugh, it needs to be darker. I think they're pretty dark for what they are, and I think they're pretty good to my standard. And yeah, so there's minor differences, of course, with all these shades, but they're definitely in the same family. They're not like drastically different, but they're just like slight differences to them, which is kind of cool in a way. I don't know. And yeah, so like honestly, I don't even know my purpose of doing this video. I guess I was just curious, and kind of curiosity got to me, and I was like, is there a little bit of a difference? But you know, there's not major differences. It's pretty much the same and everything, and you'll see with the close-up of these swatches and everything. I'm gonna give you a close-up on all of these just because I want you to be able to really see them. I don't know if you can still get this palette, but if you can, I will link it down below. It might be in Katiexobeauty like website maybe, I don't know, because I think they do sell them there, as well as BH Cosmetics and Ulta, so you can go in store if you do live in the States with Ulta. But if I was gonna go for one palette or the other, if they were both still available, I would definitely go with the Remix, unless you want lipsticks. So if you want lipsticks, yes, definitely go with this palette, but the Remix, you are going to get more eyeshadows, and I find that a lot of people just want eyeshadows. So if you want more eyeshadows, I would definitely go with the Remix palette, just because you get these shades, which are in the original palette, so you're not missing out. And then you can also get these nice, bright, vibrant colors. You can get a lot of different colors with them, and I think that's awesome and everything. So I would definitely go for this palette if I were you. Like, this is definitely a great palette, and I love both of these palettes, and I think Shannon did a really good job creating both of them. But I would definitely go with the Remix just because you do get more shadows for your money and stuff like that. And lipsticks aren't like, I don't know, maybe you are hardcore in lipsticks and you like lipsticks like this, but I think this palette is just more worth it. They're both worth it, but this one I just feel like you're gonna love a lot better because you get a ton of shadows. And I love the double-ended palette idea because it still makes it compact rather than having a huge palette like the Jaclyn Hill palette or any Morphe big palettes. And you can keep it compact. It's great for travel and that kind of stuff, and I really love that palette. I think it's gorgeous, and I will have the pricing of it on the screen if you were curious. And yeah, so I'm gonna throw in the tutorial right now if you want to see how these eyeshadows perform, of course. But of course, I love these palettes and I think they're awesome. So here is the comparison if you want to see like an eye look. Okay, so welcome to the tutorial part of this video and stuff. I'm actually not sure how I'm filming this, but I'm pretty sure I want to do a tutorial on it. So here's a side by side of both of the palettes. This is what they look like next to each other. So on this eye, I will take the Remix, and on this eye, I'll take the original and everything. And I'm only going to be using one side of the palette. So first, we're going to start with the Clarity shade. I'm also going to be sure to have my color switch out so the colors don't like transfer, because I will be using the same brush. So I'm going to make sure to have that out. So I'm going to take the original palette and go on this eye and set the lid. Very simple, very simple. And there will be swatches. I don't know if it's before this or after this, but there will be swatches for you. Now we're taking Clarity in the Remix palette, and we're going to set the lid to the brow bone. an inner corner, just the full lid. Okay, so that pretty much looks the same. I think this one did have a little bit more kick up and it was more powdery, but you know, that's a minor difference. Okay, so now we're gonna go into the crease and we are going to take this yellow tone shade first and going into the crease just to add like a transition to the eyes and warm it up real quick. We'll add other shades after this, but we're gonna start with that one. We're gonna really build this up. Okay, so next we are going to take the shade. This one is actually called Buttercup. So in the original palette they didn't have names, but in this palette they do. And honestly, I like when they have names just because you know what to go by, if you know what I mean, and stuff. And yeah, so what inspired this video is a couple of the shades do look minorly different. So I thought it'd be fun to, you know, test the palettes and see if the original colorings are like the same or how much they changed. I feel like this shade, I don't know what it is, but it seems more pigmented. I don't feel like I have to build it up as much. I don't know if that's weird to say, but I just feel like it went on like a lot smoother and it went on more pigmented. Okay, so now we're gonna go in with this terracotta shade and everything, and we're gonna apply this to like the outer corner of my eye. So we're gonna go into the outer corner first, and then we're gonna go into the crease. Not all the way into the corner, but pretty far in. So blend, blend, blend. So yeah, taking that terracotta shade, like just do like a few dips, and then we're gonna go outer corner, blending that there to inner. And I think for the lid shade, we're gonna take this like shade. This is like, I don't know what you would call this, like a duochrome. I think that's what it's called. And yeah, we're gonna do this part next. So I'm gonna dip it in a few times and we're going to go straight onto the lid. So this is like the duochrome shade. Honestly, nothing is happening. Okay, so I'm gonna switch brushes and I'm going to wet the brush because literally nothing's happening. Not to say that the shade isn't pigmented, it's just not coming out how I want it to. So yeah, and we know it can be like a super great pigmented color, but we need to see that. Okay, now we're getting the pigment I want. And yeah, it almost looks like blue in the pan, like a blue green, but it like comes out like more brown. Okay, yeah, so it looks a little bit blue and everything, but it looks so pretty, so I love it. One in this palette is called Avocado. That is so pretty. Okay, so now we're gonna do a little bit more blending. We're gonna take that orangish shade and that terracotta shade from the first palette, and we're just gonna blend everything because it kind of got crazy and unblended. So we're just gonna blend everything together. Doing the same thing again on this palette. I want to blend because it got a little bit cray, and I'm loving this look. Like normally I wouldn't go for something like this because it's not really my style, but today I'm living for it. So I'm gonna take this brush and this little definer part of it and take the terracotta shade and that black, and we're gonna go on that very outer part of my eye and just smoke it out. I'm using the palette for this, but I promise you I used that palette to like get this coloring. Okay, so now we're gonna wipe this off and do the same thing, just mixing these two shades to add some depth to the eyes. So we're just gonna go on the outer part of the eye and kind of try to smoke it, even trying to go in the crease to add depth. Okay, my eyes look crazy, but this is the look. I think I'm gonna wet my brush one more time just to get more pigment. Okay, so this is the finished eye look. I really like it. It is so pretty. I love it. And yeah, so I'm gonna go finish off the rest of my makeup, then I'll come back and I'll film this video for you. Actually, before we go on to like the rest of the look or me finishing off the look, I'm just gonna do a couple more things. So cleaning off this brush, and we do want to highlight that brow bone, so we're gonna take that clarity color again. So starting off with that palette like we did before, and we're just gonna highlight the brow. Going into this side of the palette, and we're going to just clean everything up. I'm just gonna stick with this palette and just so I don't have to clean it off. We are going to take Holy Grail and then also Glow Baby. I just feel like this would be a really pretty mix to do like in the inner corner of my eye. guys. I'm gonna take my finger for this just so I don't have to clean off that brush for like the 50th time. Okay, so I'm gonna go on to the rest of my makeup and then I will be right back. Okay, so you saw the tutorial and yeah, so very comparable of course. And looking at my eyes, I got the same look. It doesn't look like you used two different palettes, if you know what I mean. Like it looks pretty much the same. So I think that was definitely well done there. Yeah, so I hope you enjoyed this video. Like I said, I would definitely recommend the remix over the original just because you get more shadows for your box in there. And I don't know, it's just a good deal, you know what I mean? And yeah, so I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. I know it was really random, but I really wanted to do this video like I said. And yeah, please let me leave a comment down below what your favorite palette is. I'd love to hear about it, and just let me know any videos you'd like to see next. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe before you go. I post videos Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays, and sometimes in the weekends, like as bonus videos. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a great day, night, whenever you're watching this, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.